Radio Auslandsdienst. Welcome to a new episode of our series A Year Abroad. Today, Naomi Esther speaks with Servant Samuel Summer.
Welcome to today's episode of A Year Abroad. Austrian Servants Abroad talk about their service. In this edition, we continue our journey across all 7 continents and try to get an insight into the work of young Austrian volunteers abroad. Today, area North America, represented by the Sarah and Chaim Neuberger Holocaust Education Center. I, Naomi Esther, am pleased to accompany you through today's episode. Samuel Summer is a current memorial servant in Toronto, Canada. I'm happy to have you with us today.
Hi, Naomi. It's a pleasure to be here. So, as Naomi mentioned before, I'm Samuel here in Toronto. Everybody calls me Sam. I'm from Western Austria, from a little village with 4,000 inhabitants called Nofels. I moved here to Toronto to do my Austrian Service Abroad at the end of September 2021, and I'm enjoying my time here. And I'm sure you will get to know me better and the rest of the episode.
Very nice. Thank you, Samuel. So how did you even get the idea to do your service here in Toronto? Because it's very far away. So how did that come to your mind? Why did you choose this place?
Well, so first of all, I think we should talk about why I chose to do a service abroad. And the main reason for that, obviously, is that I have a big interest in history. My friends always call me a nerd when it comes to Second World War history and the Holocaust. I always enjoyed learning about it. I always thought it was interesting. And I had a very great history teacher in middle school who taught us how important it is to learn about this history, learn about it for the future. And so I thought it would be a really great thing to educate and also educate myself more about the Holocaust and do something meaningful for this world and be a little part in change that we want to see in this world. Why Toronto? Well, I visited a technical college for construction engineering back in Austria. So I only learned English as a foreign language. And when you do a year abroad in a different country, there are huge challenges that come with it. So I didn't want language to be one of them. I wanted to be able to communicate very fast and build connections. So my choices were reduced to North America, England, and Australia. And I have family in Canada, in Vancouver. So it was always a dream for me to come to Canada. And also Toronto as a city is very interesting, as around 50% are from foreign countries, which makes it such a diverse city, which I really love. And also my institution where I work at was a reason for me to come here, because here at the institution you get to work together with Holocaust survivors, which is not a guaranteed thing in an Austrian service abroad, and it's a great thing I definitely wanted to try. And so far I'm really happy with my choice.
It's very nice. So how has it been to talk to a lot of different Holocaust survivors? Because you said you did that. So I'm very interested in how that was for you, the experience, what you talked about with them, and also how you felt after, because I think that's always like a big thing. So how do you feel after talking to someone that survived such a big thing?
Well, yeah, so in my preparation and during my time here, I've probably heard over 150 or even more survivor testimonies, but really every single one of these testimonies, when you get to see this person, when you see and hear what she has to say, it's just unbelievable, because you really see the individualism about the Holocaust. You always hear, 6 million Jews died, but you don't understand that every single one of these 6 millions has an individual story. And talking to survivors is a great thing to realize such a thing. And they can teach you so much about life, give you new perspectives and how you should live your life.
That's amazing. How are you perceived by those survivors as an Austrian? Because for some people that might be really hard after living through something so horrible. So how were you seeing? Because you're Austrian, and that's like can be a very
Mhm.
dangerous thing. So how was that for you? Your experiences?
Well, we as the Austrian Service Abroad are very lucky that we have a long history with my institution, the Chaim Neuberger Holocaust Education Center, since many years. Austrian volunteers come here, so the survivors are already used to the young Austrian people here and can see that we come with a great mission and that we do want to do something good. So I was always, uh, they always were very welcoming to me and didn't have any hesitations to open up to me or something like this.
Okay, that's amazing. So other than that, what are your tasks in your service? Because we talked about you meeting several people and Holocaust survivors, but what else do you do in the institution?
Mhm. Well, the work is very diverse. I remember at my first tasks in the first months were very much about organizing. We had our Holocaust Education Week, which basically turned into a month, but that's a different story. And for that, I organized survivor speaker sessions. These are Zoom calls where Holocaust survivors speak to school classes. Those were organized by me and facilitated by me. Another thing is that we get a new museum in 2023. So we are working on new exhibitions, which I'm helping with. Those are the main two tasks I'm doing during my time here.
That sounds really interesting. So also about your like free time a bit because you don't work the entire day, obviously. So do you do more meaningful things? So or do you just not do much? How does that work? How's your free time here?
Well, I think I underestimated a little bit that a service like this does a lot to you mentally. It's mentally challenging for me because when you spend the whole day learning and doing things about one of the worst worst events in human history, I feel like I kind of have to disconnect it in my free time from it a little bit. So I would say I'm doing very different things in my free time. Of course, trying to meet new people, and in the last few weeks, I did a lot of hiking with my friends outside of the city. And yeah, on the weekends, I try to explore the city and meet new people, hang out with my friends. And I also started going to the gym, for example. So that's basically what my free time looks like.
That's very nice. You just mentioned your friends. So was it hard for you to find new friends and meet new people, or is it just something that comes and that's very easy?
hmm I found Toronto as a very open city to to immigrants. As I said before, around 50% of the city are newcomers. So a lot of people know the challenges and the others are used to newcomers. So it's a very open city. It's very easy to get to know new people. My friend group, I basically talked to one of them on the streets and he introduced me to all the friend group. That's my main friend group I spent the most time with.
That
But yeah,
sounds
so yeah, I feel like it's very easy to get to know people here. Everyone is very, very open to new cultures and new people.
did you just walk up to him and be like, "Yo, I need friends," or how did that work?
Oh, there were not many alternatives to that. So yeah, I was kind of forced to do that.
So, other than meeting new people, what were some challenges you were faced with and that every person that does a service abroad kind of has to face?
Well, for me, the challenges really started already at home, of course. It's a proper process to get a Canadian visa. And especially for someone like me, where you live in a little village and move across all of the world to a big city like Toronto, there are a lot of things you have to think about. And of course, like especially in the last few weeks, in the last few days at home, you get some doubts. Can I really do that? Do I really have the courage to do that? But That's the best thing about moving abroad, that you overcome all of these challenges. And first of all, I talked about the visa. So the immigration was really difficult during COVID times. So the problem about Canada is that you don't get your visa when you're sitting at home. You get your visa at the Canadian airport. So you have to have all the documents with you. And you don't know if you can immigrate into Canada until you have the visa at the Canadian airport from an immigration officer. So that was a bit nerve-wracking for me. But yeah, besides that, of course, there's a lot of organizational stuff like finding your own place, a place to stay. That was very difficult online because everybody just said, "Oh yeah, next week you can come and look at the flat and we can get to know each other." And I was like, "Yeah, not happening. I'm in Austria. That I'm not able to do that." So that was a huge challenge, find a place online. And then of course, things like getting a bank where you can get your money, your mobile phone should work with a contract, and adapting to a new culture, new temperatures though. And yeah, that would be my main challenges so far.
So you talked about the living situation a bit. So how are you accommodated right now? And how did you end up finding a place?
Yeah, I moved into a condo downtown with one roommate, and I got pretty lucky though, because it's a pretty big condo for 3 to 4 people. And my roommate had to leave to Poland, where he is originally from, to take care of a family situation. So basically, I'm living alone in a big condo for a very good price, and I'm very happy with that situation.
That's very nice. So you have we have a 6-hour time zone difference. So you should be working right now, but you're at home, as I can see. So is that due to COVID, or how is your work situation right now?
Yeah, so I was in the office in fall and in December, but in January we had pretty high COVID cases. So we went back to home office. But I don't see it as a big problem. I got to meet everyone in the office, so that makes it much easier to communicate with everyone. And the tasks I have to do are very doable in home office. And I'm not very angry about it because the institution is pretty far north. So it takes me about a little bit over an hour to get there. So in home office, I can sleep a bit longer, stay up a little bit longer. So that's pretty nice. But ja.
Das war Radio Auslandsdienst. Sie finden unsere Sendungen auf YouTube und allen gängigen Podcast-Portalen.